This is Surrey County Cricket Club. Born in a tavern in 1845. The symbol of Kennington, we've seen London grow around us. Cricket's original champions, as Charles Alcock brought his vision to life and we cemented a reputation as a place of firsts. International football, FA Cup finals, international rugby, test matches, as well as where English pride came to die, before a great rivalry was born from its ashes. We share our feathers with royalty and pass on the honour of the brown cap through generations. We've seen England's best spend their careers with us.
Well, that's Jack Hobbs. Head and shoulders, yes, over all other living batsmen.
And the game's best finish under our gasometer. We've won 7 in a row thanks to Surridge, May, Barrington, Locke, Laker and the Bedser twins. In fact, we're well known for our famous siblings, but there's always been one family who've stood out. We saw the West Indies grip a nation on our doorstep, and a pioneer set records galore in the women's game. The end of the century brought a fresh take on Ik Dien, as Holyoake and his England teammates transformed us on the pitch. The changing of the oval skyline brought the greatest of finales.
There it is. England have regained the Ashes.
And an era of final test triumphs.
Alistair Cook has done it. A century in his last. Well played.
On our way to our own red ball century. We're one half of the game's oldest rivalry and its only London derby.
Can you clear the pavilion?
Local players are always the lifeblood of our side. But the world's best are attracted to us too. We've come through tragedies. Now we're home to world champions and cricketers of the year. 175 years have passed. There's much more to come. This is Surrey County Cricket Club, heart of London, pride of the county, the grandest stage in world cricket.
Hello and welcome to the Kia Oval for our live stream coverage of Surrey against Somerset, game 7 of 11 in the South Group of the Vitality Blast 2021. As far as this group is concerned, well, it's really shaping up now as we head towards the business end of the group stage. Surrey are currently third, 2 points behind the leaders Kent, who have played a game more, but also 2 points clear of 5th place Glamorgan, who've also played a game more. Coming up, before we get underway with this match, we're going to be hearing from the T20 captain here at the Kia Oval, Gareth. We're going to be showing you highlights of the 2019 meeting here between Surrey and Somerset, and also looking at Somerset's last completed game, which was a comfortable victory over Kent. Plus, we'll be joined live by the Academy Director of Surrey County Cricket Club, Gareth Townsend, here in the 1845 stand. The toss and the team news will come very, very shortly. The game to start at 6:30, and, well, the good news is the sun has been out today, dry as a bone, and that is a sight for sore eyes here in South London because of the washouts that we've had. Of course, we started off the group with 3 straight wins, then the 2 no results, only 5 overs possible against the Sussex Sharks, not a single ball bowled against the Hampshire Hawks, and then finally the first defeat of Surrey's campaign inflicted by the Essex Eagles just a couple of days ago. Surrey were put in that game. Essex bowled beautifully and they got rid of Amler, Jacks and Burns very cheaply indeed, and despite a run of ball 30 from Jordan Clark and an excellent 28 off 22 balls on his senior debut by 19-year-old Ben Geddes, well, Surrey were all out for 118, and in truth Essex chased that down very comfortably. They were 48 without loss after the plough play. They put on 67 before the first wicket fell at the end of the 8th over. A super Ricky Clark catch to dismiss Adam Wheaton, but that was really as good as it got for Surrey, and that was all that there was to cheer. Essex reaching their target with 9 balls to spare. So let's show you the highlights first of all from that game here at the Kia Oval a couple of nights ago.
And Amler's on strike, Nidjo around the wicket to him. Amler drives, has gone, first ball straight in to extra cover. What a start that.
Well, it's Dan Lawrence opening the bowling. Spin at both ends. He bowls short. This is pulled into the leg side, and he's been caught. He's been caught by Michael Pepper. You see on the 30-metre circle, Lawrence in again. Short forced into the offside. Beautifully executed. Gave himself a bit of room. He saw the ball on the length.
Nijjar, round the wicket he comes to Smith. That short pull by Smith into the Peter May stand for our first 6 of the evening.
The Vauxhall end, he bowls. It's played into the leg side, down to a vacant fine leg. It might run away for 4, and it does. Right arm over the wicket, he bowls, and he's bowled him, clean bowled him. It's hit the sort of top and middle, I reckon, and I have to say that I think Smith wasn't quite forward.
Last 2 games here. Snater then, right arm over the wicket he comes, and driving his getters. Nice looking shot this. Run away through backward point. That's going to run away.
Getting to the crease, to Rory Burns, who pulls it in the air. It just goes, oh, it hasn't gone over the head. It's been caught by Ryan Tenduscarter.
Slater is over the wicket to Jordan Clark, and this is swung high in the air by Jordan Clark for 6, over mid-wicket into the Peter May stand. He's a strong old boy, is Jordan Clark. As Snater, over the wicket he comes. It's another short one, pulled again by Jordan Clark for 4 more. Well, he's not learning, and look at Harmer.
As Nijjar again comes in straight then around the wicket, in bowls, and that's high, and it's going to be safe out towards the extra cover boundary, and better than that, it's going to be 4 runs. 4 runs for Clark. Nijjar again coming in, he's bowling from the pavilion end. That's the end away from us at the moment. This is aerial. Has it been well placed? It looks as if it could have been. Yes, it is. It's a 4 with 1 bounce. This moves to 28 not out. Next delivery, tries to use his feet, and that will be a stumping. He went down to it, missed it, and therefore no way back. He'd lost his balance, couldn't get back. Well,
over the wicket, he's bowling to overturn. Who's gone, I believe? He's been given out.
Snater, in over the wicket he comes, and Jordan Clark has slammed this one straight down the ground, and Harmer takes a great catch down there at long off.
Right.
In over the wicket comes Snater once again, and Clark's shot just opens the face and guides this one past backward point and away for 4.
For a number of clubs, but back here at his home now at Surrey. Reverse sweep, there's that LBW appeal, and it's been given. So far, Surrey. Harmer bowls. This is slog swept beautifully for 4. 1 bounce. Okay, it's the short boundary, but let me tell you, he hit it like a bullet.
Until you get him out, the game's not over. All bowled is Gareth Batty.
Yorker.
Good bit of bowling from Sam Cook. Got it right up there. As over the wicket once again comes Cook, and Jay Dernbach swinging, hits the front pad, gone LBW.
Moriarty, left arm round the wicket from the pavilion end bowls. This is slapped into the stand. Slog swept by Buttleman, and
with Rory Burns out there.
12 yards in.
As Butterman goes down the ground, that's a great shot. It really is. Lovely use of the feet, and then driven. As round the wicket once again goes Jackson, shot from Wheater. Lovely use of the feet, and then straight back over the top of Will Jacks.
Clark in bowls. This is into the offside. It goes over extra cover, and I think it's Gareth Batty who is it Gamble? Not worth playing.
Jay Dernbach's in again. He backs away to a slower ball, and that's well played. Cuts it from the top of his off stump, Buttleman, past Morris. The Essex Eagles, as Dernbach is over the wicket once again to Buttleman. That's short, and this will be cut for 4 more. Short and wide from Jay Dernbach.
As I say, Surrey been a little bit disrupted one way or another in the last few days and nights, and this one is reversed very fine. Dernbach will get those long, tall legs pumping, but he can't get to that before it crosses the boundary. Places himself down here at sort of gully area, backward point, and this one is driven. Well stopped. Very good stop and fielding there from Ricky Clark, I think that is, out there at extra cover. In fact, he's caught it. I thought that had actually bounced into the ground. Well, not only is it's a sensational catch. Clark in now, bowls, creates a bit of room, and we may see a boundary here, will we? I'm not too sure. Overton's going to try and cut it off. A boundary, no. And Clark in again, bowled him! Well, the only naughty thing about that is he's just stood right across his stumps and said, here are 3 of them, do you want to hit them?
Buttleman gave himself a bit of room. Moriarty again bowls a little bit of room into the leg side. There's going to be 1, 2. In fact, it's going to go for... Well, I need an interview first. As this is a wide as well, I think, and it's signalled wide. Yes, there it is. Game is over. It's a double sort of bounce outside of the track.
I'm joined live now by the Surrey Academy Director, Gareth Townsend. We'll be speaking to Gareth in just a moment, but let's just update you on the result of the toss and indeed the team news. Well, Surrey have lost the toss and they will be batting first. They have been put in by Somerset. And as far as the team news is concerned, a couple of changes for Surrey. Laurie Evans is back. You might remember he missed out in the last game because of a stomach bug. He was unwell. So he comes in, Hashim Amla makes way, and Ricky Clark, who sustained a shoulder injury in Monday's game against Essex, you've just seen, Gus Atkinson is his replacement. So the batting order, we think, might look something like this. Will Jacks, Jamie Smith, Laurie Evans, Rory Burns, Ben Geddes, Jordan Clark, Jamie Overton, Gus Atkinson, Gareth Batty, Dan Moriarty and Jade Dernbach. And we'll tell you the Somerset team news in a moment. Also, just to let you know, wherever you're watching in the world, whether it is on KearOval.com or YouTube or Facebook, you're more than welcome. It's great to have your company. Just to let you know as well, if you want to watch Surrey women taking on Middlesex women in the London Cup T20, that is live on Middlesex's YouTube channel. So if you want to, just flick over there from time to time. But do stay with us here on Surrey's YouTube channel and Facebook page. So Gareth, first of all, let's just reflect on that game on Monday. I mean, Mark Church, our commentator, said it was just a bad night at the office. Is that how you saw it? It just simply didn't happen for Surrey.
Well, we'll obviously put it down to that. Surrey didn't get their game together. They didn't start well, lost 4 wickets in that first power play, and if you lose wickets at the top of those games, you end up losing the match. I think they would have had a rethink on how they're going to play. They've lost their international players, and I think they will have to look at maybe playing in a slightly different way, and that will hopefully be seen tonight when we play up against Somerset.
And what about Ben Geddes? Because he was thrown in at the last minute with Laurie's illness, let's say. 28 off 22 balls for a 19-year-old. How do you feel that he acquitted himself?
I think he did brilliantly. Ben's been playing well in the second team, been striking the ball well in those 2020 games we played in the twos. He came out on his debut, and I thought he looked at home, was very positive, and I'd like to see more of what he's doing tonight.
Just tell us what it's like when you get someone who comes in at such a young age. I think you first represented Surrey at under 9s, and you will have seen his development over that time, over that decade. How do you handle someone like that at that age, and how do you strategise to eventually see them representing the senior men's team here?
I find it quite amazing that the young players we have historically have come through. A lot of them have made their debuts in the 2020. Jamie Smith did, Jason Roy did, in front of big crowds, and it is amazing how for young men they go out in that environment, in that atmosphere, and they just look at home. And I think it's a great testament to them as individuals, the programme that they come through, but their composure and assurity in handling the situation does amaze me. There's no kind of dress rehearsal for that. I think we train them hard, we put them under pressure in their kind of programs, but they come out here and express themselves, and I think they've looked at home straight away.
It's interesting, isn't it? We've got a clash of 2 teams here that have got very strong academies, links with schools. Millfield School, of course, for Somerset. We've got some interesting players in their lineup as well, notably, of course, Tom Banton, who's made such an impact early on in his career, but also Lewis Goldsworthy, and not only those two, but you've got plenty more that have come through. You know, the likes of Ben Green as well, he's been playing well, he's been getting runs and also taking wickets. But let's look at our opponents in a little bit more detail. After a couple of losses to start off their group stage, they finally got a win against the South Group leaders, Kent, and in that game they racked up 204 for 7, having been put in by Kent, largely thanks to 68 off 33 by Tom Aber, who's by the way injured for this game here today, and 48 off 29 from the 20-year-old Lewis Goldsworthy. They put on 90 runs for the 4th wicket, and in reply they managed to get rid of Daniel Bond-Drummond and Joe Denley very cheaply indeed. Zach Crawley did make 48 off 23, but he was one of 2 wickets for Max Waller, and once he went, well really that was that, and Kent didn't really get much further. Marchand de Langer also really got tucked into that Kent middle order. Kent all out for 157. So Somerset victorious in the end by 47 runs. Here's the highlights of that game at Taunton last Tuesday.
Somerset kick-started their T20 Blast campaign with an all-round fine performance at Taunton, where they defeated Kent by 47 runs. Put into bat, Tom Banton smacked the second ball of the match over the rope, a glorious stroke so early in the piece. Somerset have certainly entertained in the power play so far in this tournament, and this was no different. James Hildreth launching into almost everything. Both of these strokes going all the way as Somerset took 33 runs off the first 3 overs. But again, they lost early wickets. Bantam was the first out for 9, holing out off Grant Stewart. The next over saw the demise of Will Smead for 7. A low full toss from Matt Milnes mean the timing was off as the batsman was held in the covers by Joe Denley. Somerset settled for a score of 52 for 2 from the power play, but then immediately lost Hildreth for 27, perhaps not fully going through with a shot off Denley to be held in the deep. It was again left to the middle order to see out the lion's share of the innings. Lewis Goldsworthy enjoyed his return to the side with some smart cricket, aided by Tom Abel, who yet again took charge of the innings when it was required. His role at number 4 has become so important in this format. He and his young partner took the total to 90 for 3 at the halfway stage. Abel then picked up the pace with a couple of maximums, this one off Darren Stevens having him close in on another T20 half-century, which duly arrived in the next over, the 13th, his latest 50 occupying 26 balls, a knock including 5 fours and 2 sixes, which had now given his side a chance of posting a challenging score. And that in fact was a certainty, with Abel clearing the rope again off Stevens to move on to a thoroughly entertaining 68. But there his innings was ended as he tried to go large again, but this time picked out Milnes. Abel's partnership with Goldsworthy for the 4th wicket was worth 90, made in 7.5 overs. 5 overs to go and the total read 154 for 4. Goldsworthy now being joined by fellow Lewis Gregory, these two picking up where Abel left off. Gregory departed for 13, clubbing a pull to Jack Leaning, he leaving with his side on 176 for 5, with 20 balls of the innings remaining. Just before they achieved that, Ben Green gave Leaning a 3rd catch in the deep, but Somerset were able to get to a challenging 204 for 7 against this dangerous Kent outfit. The home side then made a brilliant start with the ball. Craig Overton struck with his 4th delivery to remove Daniel Bell-Drummond, Green with the catch off a thick outside edge to get Somerset cracking. Josh Davey also tasted success in his first over, Denley offering Gregory an easy chance to put his side in the box seat. Kent on 14 for 2 after 2, the perfect start for the hosts. Zach Crawley, back from England duty, seemed to enjoy the freedom away from Test cricket, and in successive balls sent deliveries from Overton over the rope, and the Spitfires got to 56 for 2 at the end of their 6 overs of power play. But Somerset began to take control soon after. Goldsworthy came on to bowl and struck in his first over, Sam Billings stumping a drag down straight to Abel in the deep. And that was followed by a peach from Max Waller, which bamboozled Crawley to see him on his way for 48. Kent left on 73 for 4 after 8. Leaning has been in fine form, so his wicket was of huge importance. Bantam behind the stumps giving Waller something else to be happy with. And when Stevens edged Marchant de Lange to Davey at 3rd man to go for a dozen, Somerset were as good as over the winning line at the 3rd time of asking. De Lange struck again a Stewart top edge to Banton, that leaving the Spitfires almost out of gas on 114 for 7. It was now all going right for Somerset. Hildreth picked up the ball at short fine leg and threw down the stumps at the non-striker's end to run out Ahmed, while Jordan Cox fell at the start of the 17th over, giving De Lange his 3rd wicket and just about wrapping things up. The bowler ended with 3 for 18 from 3 overs, his last one not needed as Fred Clarkson was run out by Green coming back for a 2nd, which was futile in any case. This had been a hammering in the end as Kent were dismissed for 157 with 2 overs not required. So Somerset took the game by 47 runs to get their campaign moving in the right direction. They head next to Hove to harpoon the Sharks, we hope, on Friday.
So that was Somerset's sole victory so far in 5 games in the group stage in the South Group of the Vitality Blast. They started off with 2 defeats, and since that win, well, they've had even more rain than we have, Gareth, because they've had 2 games completely washed out, not a single ball bowled against Gloucestershire and also against Glamorgan. Their team, they made 2 changes from the last game that was completed, and that was that one that you just saw there against Kent last Tuesday at Taunton. Tom Lammonby comes in for Tom Abel, who had a really unfortunate hamstring injury in the warm-up for a game they didn't even play against Glamorgan, so that's why Abel is missing out on this one. No Marchand de Lange, so Jack Leach makes his T20 debut. This is the team in full: Tom Banton, James Hildreth, Will Smee, Tom Lamby, Lewis Goldsworthy, also Lewis Gregory, Ben Green, Craig Overton, of course, twin brother of Surrey's Jamie, also Josh Davey, Jack Leach and Max Waller. Talk to us about Jack Leach making his T20 debut. That'll be fascinating, won't it, Gareth?
Well, it's an amazing thing. I didn't actually realise it at the time, but of a player of that quality, not having played this format, but considering the conditions of the pitch, which will probably take some spin, the big boundaries, it's probably a good move. He is a very talented, skilled bowler, and so we'll have to be watchful for him.
Well, we know with Jacks, Moriarty and Batty, we're likely to see 12 overs of spin, used middle strip, big boundaries. It's a tactic that we've come to know and love, especially when we were on that winning run last year. What about Tom Abel missing out for this game? That's huge for them, isn't he? 260-odd scores for Somerset in their last 2 completed games.
Yeah, Abel's been a big part of Somerset over the last few years in all formats. He offers a huge amount in terms of leadership, let alone his batting and bowling. So how they cope without him will be probably asking a lot for Lewis Gregory to step in and kind of take over that mantle. But they'll miss Abel, and hopefully Surrey can capitalise on that.
In contrast, a man who hasn't been in the runs, 28 runs in 3 knocks, is Tom Banton. Is the danger here that he's actually due a score? Well,
you mentioned that, didn't you? And fingers crossed, no. For the people watching, yes, because he's a very talented player, hits the ball brilliantly, and Surrey will have to be mindful of how he approaches those first 6 overs. If he comes off and gets going, then the run rate's going to shoot through the roof.
Now, we know that you, Gareth, are a West Country man yourself, in terms of the part of the world that you grew up in, and they've got some young talents too, and we know that you're interested in just those developing talents in the game. Lewis Goldsworthy and also Ben Green, who's been in the runs as well as taking a few wickets, and Lewis, who's played for England under-19s before as well. Talk to us about those two and what you like about those young cricketers.
Well, yeah, first of all, they do a really good job down at Taunton in terms of producing the talent from not only Somerset, they get quite a few coming in from Devon, and there's a great relationship there. So they're they should be very proud of what they do in terms of homegrown players, as much as we are as well. Ben Green is a talented ball striker and obviously offers with the ball, so he will be an important part of tonight's programme for them. Lewis Goldsworthy, I've seen quite a bit of him coming through the age groups. He is a talented batsman, and also can bowl some left-arm spin. So, those two will be players that will be forming part of Somerset's future 2020 team.
A number of milestones that were being accomplished today. One which really struck me, which is James Hildreth making his 200th T20 appearance. And remember, he hasn't played franchise cricket abroad. These have all come domestically. And for a man who's always been known traditionally more first off as a red ball cricketer, what about that for an achievement?
Well, it's amazing. 200 2020 games. He's hugely underrated. Never to play international cricket, and as you say, franchise cricket. He's a very had a successful career so far, hugely respected and still going strong. So, take your hat off to him.
Just also to mention a clash of brothers that we are going to see today. It didn't happen in the championship game earlier on in the season, but we know it will happen today. Whether one will bowl at the other or not, we'll find out. More likely that Craig bowls to Jamie than Jamie bowls to Craig Overton, but they are both in the 11s for their respective sides. Can I just put a little scenario to you here? Surrey have been put in. Start off top of the order with Jamie Overton, who we know can throw a bat around, and so Somerset maybe feel compelled to throw Craig Overton the ball. What would you make of that prospect?
I think it'd be quite interesting. I think it'd be brilliant. I think Jamie's role for us will be coming in later. He could easily open the batting and go for it, and
he's hit some valuable quick runs in this format,
exactly,
hasn't he?
And I think we'll rely on him to do that today, the way they've tactically set up, but it would be a great contest between the two.
Well, I mentioned milestones. Will Jack's incredible, even still so young. He's making his 50th T20 appearance, and one man who's just one away from 150 T20 wickets is Gareth Batty. Let's hear from him. He's been speaking pre-match to Mark Church.
Well, Gareth Batty, first thing I have to say, it is very good to see you, my friend. It seems like months and months and months since I've seen you. How are you?
Very good, thank you, Churchy. It is. It's been too long, hasn't it? This COVID stuff that we've all been going through has been very disjointing to the whole process and not seeing people. But let's hope we're through the worst of it now, and we can move on and get out onto the field and keep playing some more cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the weather tonight, it feels a bit more like cricket weather because of what's been going on over the last sort of 3 games. You must be very pleased with the way you started. Those opening 3 games, very, very good performances from the team, weren't they?
Yeah, it was, and it's the brand of cricket we wanted to play early on, with having Jason and the 2 Currans. Unfortunate for Toppers and Folksy and some of the boys who've got injuries, but having the boys who've been travelling around the world, performing on the international stage back, but then putting in the performances with the boys that have been here has been quite brilliant, and it just shows how we're trying to evolve the game and trying to take it forward, be better than we were last year. And I think we put in very good performances. And I was saying to the boys, I still think we can be 5-10% better, which when we're talking about elite sport at the high end, that's a huge margin, which hopefully shows the growth that we can have within this group.
Speaking to Vikram after the game against Essex, he was very honest as always and said, we just didn't think on our feet quick enough, really. He said when we batted, we needed more runs, obviously, but we didn't adapt to what was in front of us. Would that be, in a way, obviously you don't want to lose games of cricket, but they always talk about good learnings, don't they? You take something out of that from what Vikram said and you as captain?
Absolutely. I take full responsibility on the field. We didn't adapt like Vikram suggested, but also I think before we walked on the field, we were playing a very nice brand of cricket, really aggressive, really positive, and we had personnel change. I think there were 4 changes, and we didn't fully address how we were going to get the outcome that we had been getting with the different personnel that had come in. Yeah. And that is something that we've looked at. We're still looking for those outcomes. We're still looking for that kind of performance, but how we go about it needs to be different. We have to be smarter. And all these buzzwords that come around 2020 cricket, you've still got to be brave. Whether you're a guy that reverse sweeps and goes over the keeper, or whether you're a guy that hits row Z, you have to be brave. And we just need to be a bit clever about how we put and use people within situations. So I take full responsibility on the field that we missed a beat there, but it was on the back of great performances going into it, and I was sluggish to react to that and address how we needed to change.
How much are you enjoying it still, Mr. Batty? And I'm not going to ask you about you personally. I'll talk about your bowling, but you personally. But what I mean by that is, there we go. We've been using all these buzzwords, my friend, in this interview already, haven't we? Learnings. I keep hearing about matchups, mate. I thought that was a dating show or something. But for you've played since the start of this thing. How much are you enjoying it? Because as you say, there's still things going on which are new to everybody, aren't there?
I think every year, from last year to this year, I think the game has gone up again. I think the T20 Blast is the one thing in county cricket that has been evolving, and it's almost been that slow burner because we all talk about IPL or this or that. It's gone under the radar, and I think that's wrong, because you look at skill sets from all of the counties, not just us. Boys are hitting the ball harder. They're hitting awkward areas. Bowlers are coming up with different things. It's exciting. It really is. It's a real shame we're not allowed more people in to see how the game is evolving. Because just on the last 18 months of 2020 cricket that I've played, it's evolved as much as at any other period throughout from 2003, I think it was, that we started. And I think it's exciting. If an old man can be excited about it out on the field and trying to improve and add, well, you know, what isn't there to love about our great game in this country in 2020 cricket? I really do feel this country is on the cusp of really taking cricket to all new levels, and it's exciting to still, as an old man, be this sort of part of it.
Well, look, the old man still got it. You bowled beautifully so far in the comp. I think I even saw the Zuta coming out at one point. And, great control with everything. How much are you sort of loving being out there in the middle and still doing your job, my friend?
The one thing I do know from age, the one thing I'll never be able to replace is playing out there and being part of that 11, part of the club, trying to win games of cricket. The buzz, the excitement, the challenge, you can't replace with anything else. And I can say that because I was very lucky at the start of the year to be running the second team and being involved with that, and it's brilliant. It really is great. But I'll say to all those youngsters that have been performing there is nothing like being out there. yes, it scratches my itch with the coach, and then it's brilliant. But wow, there's nothing like being out there playing. So as long as I possibly can and my skills are up to it, I'll keep going. But I'm not just overkilling it because we're doing an interview. I'm really excited about where this format of the game, the T20 Blast, is going at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Final question. Somerset tonight, obviously you did a pretty good job on them at Taunton, but they've got some pretty good players in there. You'll have to be at your best tonight, won't you?
Yeah, they're dangerous. First and foremost, their captain springs to mind, Lewis Gregory. I think he's a fine cricketer. He'll be hurting that he's not in those England squads, so he'll have a point to prove. Everybody seems to come to the Oval, Kia Oval, and want to prove that point. So it's a big stage for people. So we need to be smart about how we go about our business. But we need a good correction from the other night because we weren't quite where we needed to be. The boys have recognised that. It's certainly not taken a negative approach. It's been really positive still. But being smart with that positivity and let's get over the line tonight.
Terrific, my friend. Absolute joy to see you. I'm sorry it's 800 yards away, but fingers crossed to see you in person very, very soon and go well tonight.
Fingers crossed, buddy.
We're just 5 minutes or so away from the start of the game. Surrey against Somerset in the South Group of the Vitality Blast. And just another reminder that Surrey women are playing Middlesex women in the London Cup T20 game at Radlett, and you can see that on Middlesex's YouTube channel right now. Let's just remind you of what's happened in terms of the toss and the team news. So the toss was lost by Surrey. They've been put in by Somerset, so they will be batting first. A couple of changes made by Vikram Solanki and co, and he decided to put in Laurie Evans, who returns after his illness, Hashim Amla making way, and Ricky Clark, who's got a shoulder injury after Monday's defeat to Essex, and Gus Atkinson replaces him. So it is Jacks, Smith, Evans, Burns, Geddes, Clark, Overton, Atkinson, Batty, Moriarty and Dernbach. And also the Somerset players are as follows: Banton, Hildreth, Smead, Lammonby, who's in for Tom Abel, who has had a hamstring injury, Goldsworthy, Gregory, Green, Craig Overton, Josh Davey, Jack Leach, who makes his T20 debut, no Marshawn DeLanger for Somerset today, and Max Waller. Gareth Townsend, just before we hand over to the commentary, you mentioned before that with the team changes that Surrey have made, that they may need to approach this differently. Just unpack that for us. What does that mean?
Well, I think we had obviously Jason Roy and Sam Curran playing in the previous few games with great success with Will Jacks. With those players, 2 players missing, I think in terms of our batting approach, we will be not necessarily cautious, but a little bit more conservative in how we approach the first few overs. We'll want to take our innings deep, probably not lose too many wickets up front, and I think the main thing is they'll be looking to have a big go at the end, so they want to knock it around in the middle and maybe go back to a little bit of how we played last year. So hard up front, knock it around, and then leave Overton, Clark, etc. to come in at the end and try and smash it. But they'll want wickets in hand at the end.
Well, it could be an absolutely crucial game. Remember, there are only 3 games left after this in the South Group. Surrey lose this and it really bunches up, but Surrey win, they go top of the group. Enjoy the game in the company of Anthony Gibson and Mark Church.
Young Cornishman, Lewis Gregory, the captain, Craig Overton, Ben Green, Jack Leach, Josh Davey and Max Waller. Whether Jack will come in number 9 as he's down 2 remains to be seen.
Well, I think you should do his first over because Jack Leach is going to open the bowling, Mr. Gibson, from the pavilion end. His first over in T20 cricket, so it should definitely be you on commentary for this first over.
And he's going to be bowling to Will Jacks, who's been in great form in this competition. Where are the fielders out in the deep? We've got a long off. Here comes Leach from the pavilion end. He's in and bowls his first delivery in T20 cricket, which is played defensively back to him by Jacks. Where's the other boundary field? Oh,
deep
there he is. Yeah, deep mid-wicket. Leach bowling his slow left arm in lovely evening sunshine. This is a quicker one, but again, Jack's content just to have a look at Jack Leach.
Yeah, interesting. Again, if you're going to go through the offside, you're going to have to go inside out. So he's defending the long boundary, Leach.
He bowls again. This is a quicker one. This is cut away through the offside for 4 runs. Just a little bit short and wide, and flat batted away in front of square through the covers for Surrey's first runs, 4 without loss halfway through the first over.
Unless Jack Leach bowls one halfway down, and then Will Jacks can do exactly what he's done here, just jump onto that back foot and smack it through the covers for 4, but you'll see this tonight with the spinners. Which boundary are they going to defend? That's the key thing tonight.
Leach again, in and bowls to Jacks, tosses this one up more, and it's a fuller length as well, and treated with respect. And just played out into the covers where Max Waller does the fielding at extra cover. Cover point, backward point, short fine leg. Leach bowls, Jacks makes room for himself, and that's going to be 4 more. A dive by Will Smead at cover to try and cut it off, but to no avail. And that's another boundary. Again, a little bit short, a little bit wide.
Yeah, it's a good bit of batting from Will Jacks. He's jumped outside his leg stump. That's that inside-out shot we were talking about, because Leach knows if he goes really short, anything he can go leg side is a very short carry, really, out towards the Peter May stand. So he's trying to defend that cover boundary at the moment, is Jack Leach.
8 without loss, Surrey. This is driven back to him.